How to enter and attribute a credit note to an invoice. Again, for training and demonstration purposes, all names and addresses are fictitious. However, catalogue codes, descriptions, prices are current to the relevant catalogue company. So we've either made a return of an item to gain a credit, or an item was damaged and the company have agreed to refund the amount for the item. Now with Oriflame, if I just go to my accounts screen, generally they don't issue a credit note. It will be credited against your next order. So it keeps things very simple, because basically when you next place your order, the amount that they charge you is less, so you're not actually having to enter in a credit note. Viva MK is slightly different. They will actually issue a credit note which can then be used against your next invoice. So I'm going to change my system to Viva MK, and we're going to add a credit note in first. We click the add new invoice or credit. Invoice number or the credit note number, I'll just make something up, so we'll say it's X4512. The type, we say it's a credit advice. The date it was received, so we'll say it's today. The order number may or may not be relevant. You might be classing it as a credit against a previous order, so it might be on my last order, say 2751. Reference, now again that's purely for my own purposes. I might decide to reference that to the original invoice that I was charged for it, and then the amount that they're actually going to credit me with, so it might be just £8 of credit. Date payment due is not applicable, because obviously I'm going to just use this credit against an invoice, and again, catalogue sport, sample sport, none of that is relevant to this. So we then just click enter, and that's all there is to it. The system now knows we've got a credit advice for that, which can be used against a purchase order. And we can also see from our system here, credit due from HQ £8, so we know that we're actually in a positive situation. Now, to show you how we can use that credit against an invoice, if I now add an invoice that we've got for the next order, so we'll just pop that in, and we'll keep the dates the same, and let's say the value for this is £50.50. Catalogues bought, samples bought, stock bought, sales egg, postage value, let's say we got covered for £4.50. Date payment due, okay, total retail price, let's say, okay, that was £75 for argument's sake. So we enter that in. So we can now see that we've got £58.50, not to be paid, but to be paid or credited. It basically has to be processed. The system knows how much we're owing to the HQ. We had the invoice of £50.50, but it knows to take off the credit of £8, so we've got a balance of there. We can also see that we are going to be struggling to actually pay that from the bank, but just again to show you, the system will play catch up. It will allow you to go into a negative situation to the bank, which I'll show you in a minute when we pay that. So to pay that £42.50, using our credit that we've got on there, we just simply say make payment. How much are we going to pay? We're going to pay £42.50, even though the invoice is for £50.50. Payment date is going to be today. Payment type is going to be the card. Now what I do is I click select to pay against my credit advice. Now as soon as I click that, you'll see that the balance remaining against select invoices will increase. So I've now got my £50.50 to pay against the invoice for 50.50, and I simply click on that. That reduces that to 0. Enter payment. So just to recap there, my payment value was £42.50. That's what I'm actually going to pay Viva. I click the £8 credit to add it to my payment of £42.50, which equates to the £50.50 that I owe them, which is then shown there. I then select that to pay, which then uses that money. Enter the payment. Is it okay? Yes, process. And now you'll see that the system has dealt with those two items. I no longer owe HQ anymore. If I was to then just refresh this screen, you'll now see that my bank has gone into a negative situation of 425. It doesn't matter, that will even itself out once I get more money in the till and pump more money over to the bank. And that's how you deal with credit notes.